What's going on, y'all? It's the Golden Boy Show. I am here with Cedric Gardner, my man, and you are in for a treat today. So a little something about Cedric. This man been dancing since before he could even walk, right?
No. That would kind of be kind of hard. Maybe I was like wiggling a little bit.
Okay, I'm just hyping him up. But anyways, you get my point. This man's been dancing for a long time. Hey, things like Step Up, things like So You Think You Can Dance, and now even to working with the Boys and Girls Club, doing great things with the youth community. I'm excited to bring you my man right here.
Yes,
so
man, thank you.
Tune in. We got something special. So tell me, Mr. Flexible Man, tell me how your story would be so different if dance wasn't in the picture.
Man, so that's a good question. If dance wasn't in the picture for me, I would be an engineer. That would be the first thing. Yeah, so I studied a long time under the guidance of my father, who is an engineer, and he wanted me to be a mechanical engineer just like him, or electrical engineer, I should say. And so that's what I'll be doing. And other than that, besides like the day-to-day fun in dance, I think I would be playing chess more.
I mentioned Step Up, I mentioned So You Think You Can Dance, and all that good stuff in the competition. So tell me, what was it like to work in Hollywood, the movie production set, man?
It was amazing. Yeah. I was gonna say it was. I should say it was amazing because I was able to meet a lot of people that I haven't met before, as far as like celebrities. But on the other side of things, I feel like it was always highly competitive. So while it was amazing, it was equally stressful. Just because, dancers, there's so many of us and we're all going for the same job. And sometimes, they only hire a certain amount of people for each job. So it was a balance of fun and also just hard work, man.
Man, I got you. Tell me about the struggle then. Tell me, you said it's competitive. Tell me, what was the struggle when you were on set? Maybe the director wanted a certain look this way, he didn't like the choreography, he wants certain things. Tell me about the struggle on that.
So I wouldn't even say it's a struggle. It was more so like just having the mindset of being flexible at all times, because things could change so quickly, as far as like maybe they want to get it from a different angle. And the biggest part will be with us as dancers, we had to have that continuity, not only in our appearance as far as like clothing, but also in our moves. So making sure that every time you do the dance is almost as close as possible to the first time you did it. So that was a big issue sometimes with me, because I like to always kind of mix it up and put a little bit of my own art in there. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was a struggle. It was more so just having endurance, man. Being on set can be a long day. It can be anywhere from 8 hours to 15-hour day. Yeah, doing the same thing over and over again, or doing more things. It just really depends on what the job is. Yeah, each job was different, each job.
So adding on to that, so as you think back, because I know you had your career and your history, what do you remember being flexible with? When you think back, what is in my mind still that I really had to be flexible on set?
Oh man, I would say that would be when we shot Step Up 3D, and in our scene we had like all this dust, and it was actually like,
we got dusty?
Yeah, it was literally like, that was like our special power. Each each house had like an element, like element, like water or earth. And ours was earth. So we had all this dust that we had, every scene we had to get like pockets full of dust, just so we can be like, when we clap our hands, there's dust. So man, I just remember just like being extremely filthy that day. I mean, it was like safe to breathe and all of that. They go through all the, proper protocol when it comes to like making sure you're not gonna die or anything from it, or get cancer, hopefully. Not get cancer. No, hopefully not get cancer. But yeah, so we had to have all this dust in our pockets, and had to like toss it at our friends and stuff, like to make this scene, because that was the first 3D film for dance. So they wanted that dust element to actually register in the audience. But it's dust, so it's kind of hard to do that. Yeah.
That's why they gave you so much excess.
Man, it was like literally on the side of the stage. It was like, not stage, but where we were shooting, it was like buckets and buckets of this dust.
Tight. That reminds me like kung fu movies, like they punch and then, what I'm saying, then they get, something like that. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, so let's go to this question then. So Now working the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
How are you fulfilling your purpose with dance?
Man, so honestly, it has always been my dream to work with youth and provide an opportunity of just high quality arts, but just as many as opportunities that we could provide here in Milwaukee to dancers of all ages. By moving back to Milwaukee, I found out that, well, who really needs our help is teens and tweens, because there's always access for adults. If they want to go to a different state, they can get on a plane and go to a different state. If they want to like congregate with friends or fellowship with friends after, in the night times or after school or after work, they can because they're older. But when it comes to kids, they don't really have those avenues as much as we do as adults to kind of like escape to a place that provides, the opportunity to express themselves in art. So, man, working at the Boys and Girls Club has really been a blessing. It's probably been the best job that I've had because of just meeting different people, understanding them as people, respecting their different beliefs, respecting them again as people. Like, it's just been great to see the kids also grow. Like, 2 of the kids are now in college. One is at Howard, the other one's at Elkhorn University. And just to be a part of that and knowing that, man, one day, hopefully very soon, that all of them are going to be better than me in some type of way, really, really fuels my soul when it comes to like just, man, being happy. Like, you saw me, I was vacuuming the floor over there, and I was just thinking to myself, oh, I got a floor to vacuum. And I started smiling because even though it's tedious, it's one of those things that when you ask for a lot and it's given to you, you have to take the small task with the big task. So as I was vacuuming, I started smiling and said, man, I'm vacuuming the floor, but this is the studio that I can call my own. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you really think about it, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to be a part of something like this, So it's been great. And then today, as I was working out, I look up, and on Fox, I'm on the elliptical, trying to keep young.
Oh yeah.
And I look up on the Fox channel. I see the kids. We just shot another national commercial. I said, oh, that's me and the kids. Like everybody's looking at me as I'm like, on the elliptical. So those type of things, man, I don't think any words can truly express how that brings me like joy. You know what I mean? Like the joy of seeing what was once a seed planted by other mentors into me, now becoming a seed planted in new kids, and actually seeing them achieve some of the goals that they wanted to achieve. And just seeing them on that TV screen, I was just like, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's a blessing, bro.
So I want to go deeper into that. So I know we're talking about Boys and Girls Club. You work here, obviously.
Yeah.
To being a commercial, Old Navy, to doing competition monsters. National monsters. Why are you so invested in the kids?
Why am I so invested in the kids?
There's twofold. Okay. The biggest thing is this: I believe in passing on knowledge. Okay. I believe in passing on knowledge. And our greatest gift is to invest in somebody else, right? Because the thing is, hopefully, by you investing in somebody else, they will find the power, even if it's just a small act, in the future to invest in somebody else. And now, as a person, you're not only taking care of the generation that you're in right now, but you're taking care of the future generation. And by you taking care of the future generation, it continues to grow with time. And hopefully, centuries later, you probably are still a part of the world, even though, it might be the smallest thing you probably did, you could still be a part of the evolution of what we are as people. So that's why I invest in the youth. The other part is this: growing up, I've had a lot of opportunities, from family to just blessings on top of blessings. And it's just like, it's always been, like I was saying before, it's always been on my heart to be a person to take those blessings and bless other people's with it. Like this year for 2019, the word that I'm going to be living my life on is give. Like, how do I give unconditionally? How do I give abundantly? How do I give from a place that is just amazing and feel it, feel it. So like, that's truly like where I'm at right now in life. Yeah. So partnering with the Boys and Girls Club has allowed me to give without calling people about finances. Like, hey, you know, you have to pay these dues or pay these fees. You know, it's just our relationships, and that's what's really special. It's because it goes back to like what dance used to be, like just a handshake, welcoming somebody, and that fellowship. You know.
Dang, fellowship, give. Wow, that sounds like it stems from not only your character, but somewhere else. Tell me about that. I know we were talking a little bit earlier, you mentioned about Lifeway Church or something about that.
Yeah.
Tell me about, you said, how about that pastor?
Life Church.
Life Church.
Yeah, his name is Craig Rochelle.
So I studied Craig Rochelle online for Leadership Podcast.
Okay.
He's amazing.
That's a mentor right there for you. Okay.
Well, mentor, I haven't met him, but mentor from
mentor.
through YouTube, you know, following him online. I haven't met him. One day, hopefully, you know, he's really inspirational and inspiring to me. So
Do you think that affects your give, your fellowship?
I feel like, yeah, I mean, God for sure does have a big part of it. Like my faith does have a big part of it, you know, because I feel like there's no time than now to be able to like give to people. Like I feel like some people say, when I become rich, I'll be able to give, or you know, when this door opens, I'll be able to give more. I feel like if you give from your heart, that's the best gift you can give, you know. So yeah.
All right, for sure. And you mentioned God. So how's God been playing in your role right now?
Right now, man, dude, that's just like a whole different podcast, bro.
Yeah.
Like it just.
In relation to what we're talking about.
Well, in relation to what we're talking about, it's like, so it's like even our space, our culture here, and I can't speak on the behalf of the Boys and Girls Club when it comes to religion, but even this space, our culture is about fellowship. It's about making sure people are welcome. It's about core beliefs. It's about what character is, you know, and since it's about all those things, we have some of the best kids in this space. Meaning these dancers, our Davis dancers are, you know, great in academics and great as people. And I feel, you know, very connected to God, and that's part of the reason why I look to, I would say, even minister to them when times might be rough, you know. Yeah.
Now let's move in this direction. So, competition.
Competition.
Yeah, competition from the Boys and Girls Club, Davis Dancers, Monster National Hip Hop, to you freestyling back in the day. Maybe you do it now, I don't know. Maybe you battle yourself in the mirror because you're so good now. So tell me, do you think it's healthy? Do you think it's beneficial?
I don't put much stock in competition, honestly.
Really?
We believe in culminating events. So when I first got this job, the kids were like, hey, we want to go to competitions. I was like,
well, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And we're going to go to the best competition, which is Monsters of Hip Hop. Because of my connection with them personally, I know that they have great core values when it comes to their competition. It's not just about who is the most wealthiest or affluential. It's more so about that kid's talent in that moment. It's real, you know. It's the closest thing you can get to the industry when it comes to a convention. So when the kids talked to me about that, our first year going out, man, we did not do well. And I remember it was the kids' first experience. They ran off the stage crying, arguing and stuff. And, you know, I'm sitting there embarrassed like, whew, these in front of all my colleagues, they turning up. But it was the greatest moment now that I look back at it, because it was a moment that the kids could feel each other and feel what it would be like if they actually worked together. And from that moment, they always work together. You know, you might have some issues here and there, but that's life because that's people. And so competition is truly about how do you work as a team? How do you take this problem or this opportunity, I like to say opportunity, and get the most out of it? How do you plan ahead? How do you set goals? How do you organize your schedule to reflect those goals? How do you not spend so much time on one goal because you have other goals? You know, all those things. That's what I think about the word competition. I think that the competition is actually in the planning. The competition is actually in the creativity. The competition is actually in self-discovery. That's where the competition is. When you go against another team or another person, that's very subjective to the judges. But when you're always aiming to be great for yourself, you have time to reflect, and you have time to appreciate what you've done, and you have time to aspire for more, you know? So That's what I think about competition. Like, of course, we have first place thingies on the wall and stuff because it makes the kids happy to see where they come from, and then new kids too. This is the Boys and Girls Club, so it's never happened before for us as an organization. So there's a lot of first, but the biggest thing is the fellowship. You got kids coming from Racine, Kenosha, Pewaukee, Waukesha County. Like, you have kids coming from the south side, the north side. It's a melting pot, you know, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see how much they love each other, you know. So competition was actually in the real world when it comes to, like, you know, race problems and all that type of stuff. Dancing, there's always going to be somebody to somebody else who's better, you know, and so to keep that in mind is perspective. It's subjective to whoever. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You know what I mean? So you might think it's dope, and I might be like, yeah, I don't really like it. You know what I mean? If you think about it that way, it's like music. Right. Everybody's doesn't like the same music, you know? I got you. Yeah. Okay.
So adding on to that, you pay what you do. How does a dancer, maybe the creative, maybe the dancer, survive in industry?
Well, man, I feel like the biggest thing that people have to remember is titles, right? If you title yourself as a dancer, then you can only survive in the lane of dancing. But if you title yourself, like you said, entrepreneur earlier or entrepreneur, you're thinking like a business, and therefore now you have the avenue to create more revenue. You have a way to diversify your revenue, your income. You get what I'm saying? So when I was in California, I was very fortunate to have some great jobs that paid the rent. Sometimes it was hard. It didn't pay the rent, you know what I mean? But what it taught me was, first thing is this: agents are great people. Managers are great people, but nobody will work as hard as you work for yourself. So first thing is this: you have to make sure that your goals align with who you want to be. How are you going to get to that place? And also, what business strategies will allow you to sustain after you achieve those goals? Because a lot of people think, as a dancer, I want to dance with Chris Brown. Right. So you dance with Chris Brown. But where's the rest of it? Like, what are you thinking like a business, or are you thinking like a person who loves to do an art form? That's two different things, you know? So when it comes to being paid for what you do, you have to approach it with the language of a business person. You have to think like a business person. I continue to learn from people who are greater than me in business. You know, I continue to read up on it. I continue to educate myself. I continue to ask my parents, who are great at business, what they do to remain successful. You know, like, you never arrive. The moment you arrive is the moment that, you know, you can be knocked off. You should always aspire to be greater when it comes to your art, but also when it comes to your business knowledge. Because just like taxes and all this other stuff, every year the business world changes. So you have to know what's going on, you know? A lot of people are saying that there's like a strategy of becoming successful as a dancer. I feel like there's no complete or one guideline to be successful in anything, but I do know that you have to apply yourself in whatever you do. If you're gonna be a dancer or any type of entertainer or artist, you really have to do your research. You have to do your research in that field, as far as not just the body and the movement, but how much is this person getting paid? You know, what does my business email look like? What does my resume look like, as far as like actually, you know, writing it? You know, you have to do the homework in order for people to take you seriously. Is this business card the right type of business card I should be using? What about this website? You know, all those things play an important role in your success. And it always changes, you know.
We were talking on the phone before, and you mentioned about, hey, the big things you want to have in store from Milwaukee's dancing. So in order to lift people up, you have to create value in the art that you represent, which means that you have to have a different lens.
You have to have a different lens. You have to have data that backs up. I was saying no to the kids because they want to come in right now. You got to have data. You have to have why is art important, but you have to know what audience you're speaking to. So if I'm speaking to you, I know you know art is important because of your own personal experiences. But what if it's a person who doesn't connect with art, but they want to give a donation to the art scene in Milwaukee, but all they see is, yeah, man, I like art because it changed my life. That's such a general statement. How many things have actually changed people's life? But if you have the data that backs it up, like, okay, here's the GPAs for these students since they joined this program, or here's some testimonies from these students' parents. Did you see our kids last week at this event volunteering for the homeless? Like, when they see evidence that great people are coming from the art scene, then there's a value that is intrinsical when it comes to finances. You see what I'm saying? It's bigger, it's broader. And the thing about art, since it is so subjective, sometimes it can be intangible. You know, we know how to make money off of off of songs and stuff like that because we know how to monetize it. But when it comes to dance, there's no copyrights sometimes when it comes to movement. So it's kind of intangible, it's the thought.
So one last question then.
Yeah.
What's your last words for the viewers? You want to leave with them?
Man,
My last words for the viewers is this, man: live passionately. I've been following the story of Daniel through Craig Rochelle, and one thing that sticks out to me right now that I'm applying to my life is when Daniel was faced with the lion's den, he overcame it. But if you go back, he overcame it because he was one of those people who created structure in his life. His structure was giving thanks 3 times a day, praying to God and saying, hey, thank you for this, thank you for that, thank you for this. 3 times a day. He invested in himself, and he was able to overcome through his faith. So that's what I would say. Like, if you're struggling with anything in life right now, find your personal structure. Find what it feels like to be happy, even in the face of something negative, right? Find the joy in doing small tasks and being thankful in that. Like when I was vacuuming today, I was like, yeah, I could be upset, but dude, I'm vacuuming the floor that I can say, this is my floor. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when you're washing the dishes, you're washing your dishes, bro. Yeah. You see how tight that is? You know, like I was really happy, what was it, last week, because I was paying bills. And really? I said,
that's funny.
I said, God, man, you gave me money to pay bills, bro. Like, if you think about it, it's some of the things that you don't recognize in your life that is truly a blessing. You know what I mean? Like, truly, you know, being able to, I know people will say it's cliche, but being able to wake up every morning. What I think about is being able to wake up and get something to eat. Like, I wake up and go to my refrigerator and I say, oh, I want this salmon, or I want this chicken, or whatever I want for breakfast. I can eat it because God has provided that for me. So I say that structure of giving thanks 3 times a day, man, it is something beautiful, bro. Yeah.
Well, folks, you heard it. You heard it from Cedric Gardner. Structure. You heard all that greatness. So definitely, well, thanks for sharing. Thanks for being on the show, Cedric.
Man, thank you, bro. Yeah, for real.
For sure, man. Yeah. For sure. But if you want to see more actionness, where can they follow you, Cedric?
So on Instagram is Mr. Footgood. Mr. Footgood. Yeah, and if you want to follow the kids, it's Davis Dancers. And we just did another commercial with Versity Blood Centers. So you can see that online or on TV.
We'll have that on the screen down below, description. Folks, it's the Golden Boy Show with Don, guest star Cedric Gardner. Take care until the next episode.
Hey, thank you guys.
Peace.
Peace.
All right.
Bro, thank you, man. That was smooth. You're such a natural, man. Yeah, for real.
Dog.
Yes,
appreciate
bro.
that.